In the fall of 1978, deep in the woods of Vermont, there was a small town called Cold Hollow. It was a peaceful place, home to just over 300 people. Farmers, teachers, carpenters, everyone knew each other. But on the night of September 13th, everything changed. When a delivery driver passed through Cold Hollow the next morning, he found the streets completely empty. Cars were still parked along the road, dinner was still warm on the tables, lights were on inside every house. But not a single person was anywhere to be found. The police later found a single cassette recorder sitting on the counter inside the diner. The tape inside contained one short message. "If anyone finds this, don't go into the woods. It's not fog, it's them." Within 24 hours, state police and the FBI arrived at Cold Hollow. There were no signs of violence, no blood, no gunshots, no struggle. It looked as if everyone had simply stood up and walked away, except for one thing. Every dog in town was found dead. No wounds, no blood, just lying still, as if they'd fallen asleep and never woken up. Investigators tuned the local radios and found all of them were stuck on the same frequency, a repeating static signal that whispered 444. One of the few physical clues was a letter found at the home of a local schoolteacher, Mary Coulter. It was addressed to the county sheriff, dated the day before the disappearance. It read, "The sounds from the woods aren't the wind anymore. The shadows are moving when the moon is full. I think something's watching us." 5 years later, in 1983, a logging crew discovered an old film camera buried in the dirt about 3 miles north of Cold Hollow. The film had partially decayed, but parts were still watchable. The footage showed the town's final hours. A thick mist was rolling into the streets. People were screaming, running, but no one knew what they were running from. At one point, the cameraman shouts, "Get inside!" "Stay together." The screen shakes violently, then a blinding white light, followed by a single blood-chilling scream. Just before the footage cuts off, a shadow figure flashes for a single frame. Tall, thin, horned. Then, nothing. In 2002, a group of 4 college students went camping near the ruins of Cold Hollow. They were never seen again. A week later, rangers found their tent, collapsed, torn, but untouched by animals. Inside was a digital recorder still running. The last 2 minutes of the audio were analyzed by the FBI. The transcript reads, "It's 3:12 a.m. The fog is getting thicker. I can't see the others anymore. Wait, someone's walking toward me. No, that's not a person." Then, a deep, guttural breathing sound fills the audio. Experts later confirmed the sound was below 20 hertz, too low for the human ear to hear consciously, but enough to trigger panic and hallucinations in the brain. Yet this signal didn't come from the wind or animals. It was generated from somewhere beneath the ground. A team of paranormal researchers began exploring the Cold Hollow forest in 2013. Beneath the forest floor, they found a network of underground tunnels, carved by hand, centuries old. Inside, they discovered ancient drawings, circles, spiral symbols, and figures with horned heads and black eyes. The carvings matched the style of the Algonquin tribes who once lived in the area. The Algonquin had a word, endasek, meaning the shadow that eats the night. Some believe Cold Hollow was built on sacred ground, where this entity was once sealed beneath the earth. And when the town expanded its sewer lines in 1978, they broke the seal. In 2023, a YouTube documentary team entered the Cold Hollow site to film a Lost Town exploration video. They streamed it live to thousands of viewers. For 2 hours, nothing happened. Then, at exactly 2:44 a.m., the live stream cameras began to glitch. One of the team members whispered, "Guys, there's fog coming in," but the weather forecast said clear skies. The last moments of the stream were chaotic, muffled footsteps, static, and a distant low-frequency rumble. Then silence. The next morning, local authorities found the group's van parked by the forest road. Their cameras were still recording, but every single file was wiped clean, except for one. coldhollow_444.move. No one outside the FBI has seen that video. But those who've heard the audio say it ends with the same whisper from 1978. It's not fog. It's them.
In the heart of a decaying industrial district, the abandoned factory on Hollow Street loomed like a dark monument to forgotten tragedy. Its windows were shattered, its walls covered in graffiti, and the rusted gates groaned with every gust of wind. Locals whispered that decades ago, a catastrophic accident inside the factory claimed the lives of several workers, leaving behind an air of unease that refused to fade. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving within, others reported strange noises echoing in the night. 5 friends, aged between 19 and 24, decided to explore the building one Friday night. They were thrill seekers, fueled by dares and urban legends, and their excitement overrode any sense of caution. Armed with flashlights and cameras, they crossed the threshold into the factory's vast, decaying interior. The air smelled of damp concrete and rust, with something faintly metallic that made their stomachs churn. The group split up to cover more ground. Mark and Lisa moved down the main hallway, their footsteps echoing ominously, while Daniel, Sarah, and Tom climbed to the upper floors. Every step seemed to amplify the silence, as though the building were holding its breath. Then, a loud crash echoed from the hallway above Mark and Lisa. Heart racing, they cautiously climbed the stairs and found a large metal pipe lying across the corridor. No one else was there. Meanwhile, Daniel felt a sudden chill, despite the warm night outside. His breath became visible in the dim light. On the wall, words were carved deep into the concrete, "Get out, leave now." Phones lost signal. Flashlights flickered. Sarah wanted to leave, but curiosity pulled them deeper inside. They entered the main production hall. Rusted machinery towered over them. The floor was littered with debris. Daniel noticed what looked like a stain, dark, dried, and unmistakably human in shape. Then came a soft whisper, barely audible. "Did you hear that?" Lisa whispered. The others nodded. The whisper grew louder, forming words none of them could understand. A cold wind blew through the hall. Though every window was intact, the factory seemed to breathe, alive, watching, waiting. They reached the basement door. It was open, though they swore it had been closed before. The faint glow of their flashlights revealed old crates and a staircase descending into blackness. Against better judgment, Mark led the way. Halfway down, a loud bang echoed behind them. The door had slammed shut. Panic filled the group. Then came the whisper again. This time, clear. "You shouldn't be here." Sarah fell, scraping her arm. Tom helped her up, and in that instant, something moved across the basement, a shadow. Quick, silent Daniel's camera glitched, then died completely. The air grew thick, pressing on their chests. They ran, corridors twisted. Doors appeared where none had been before. The whispering turned into screams, voices, dozens of them. Lisa screamed as a cold hand brushed her face. No one was there. Finally, an exit. They burst into the night air, gasping, shaking, their hearts hammering. The calm outside felt unreal. Each knew that something inside that building had wanted them gone, but maybe it had followed them out. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen. Phones rang with no one on the line. Shadows lingered just beyond sight. Every time someone mentioned the factory, an unshakable dread crept back in. It was as if the building itself remembered. A week later, Mark went back alone. He never returned. Police searched for days but found nothing. The factory stood silent once more, its gates locked, its secrets untouched. But those who live nearby still whisper about it. They say if you stand outside the gates at night, you can hear footsteps inside, and if you listen closely enough, you'll hear it whisper, "You shouldn't be here."